This is an afternoon tea with Governor Roper, His Excellency Governor Martin Roper. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Roper.
Good afternoon and welcome to Government House and welcome to tea at Government House.
Thank you. I rather enjoyed this tea.
Good.
It's really nice, and I don't take it with milk, but usually you take it with milk, right?
Yeah, some people prefer it with milk, but you can drink it without as well. But I'm glad you're enjoying it.
I am. How's your 2021?
Well, wow, it's been an incredible year for all of us. We say incredible year, it's sort of 18 months now if you think back to sort of March when this all began last year. But I think we're just in an incredible place in Cayman. The fact that we can live our ordinary lives when around us it's so difficult is something for which I think we do all feel blessed. And it's really thanks to everyone in the community for everything that they've done that we are where we are.
And on the last time that we spoke, we weren't in a pandemic.
No.
And we didn't sort of see a change in government either. So this is quite unique to just sit down and catch up a little bit. And maybe let's just start with that, the COVID-19 pandemic. It is 2021, and as you've mentioned, we're very fortunate. You know, we've done well, to say the least, in our suppression efforts of the coronavirus. What was your experience like? Let's talk about that from the very beginning. Obviously, with the hunkering down during lockdown, the press briefings, the daily press briefings, and now being able to see that there is a vaccine available for us and for the global scale in suppressing the coronavirus.
I mean, it has been an incredible time, and you know, when you think back to that first sort of 3 months period when we did lock down, and who'd have ever thought I'd be a governor who stopped people going on the beach? I mean, you just wouldn't really have ever dreamed that could happen. So it was very intense those first few months, but in a way I had a routine every day because I would go into government administration building. We had the press conferences, lots of meetings to get updates on what was happening. I think people in the community had a perhaps even tougher time because people were locked down in their homes, not really knowing what was happening, where things were going, and I think that was really tough for a lot of people. We were fortunate; it was shorter perhaps than many other countries, and we only had the one lockdown. The UK is just coming out of the third lockdown, but we've gone through a really difficult time all across the world. I do think the vaccine is the way out, and you know, the UK has supplied us with vaccines. I think we've done 60% of the population. I know the government is keen to get to 75, 80% because the more people that have the vaccine, the more opportunity we have to open up the border safely. So I really do urge people, if they haven't had it yet, to take the vaccine because it's so important for you individually, for your family, for your friends, for our elderly and vulnerable. And it really is the only way we can start to safely open the border. If we don't get to those high vaccination rates, we really are taking a risk with people's lives.
I totally agree with that. And the vaccination campaign is on. We are just over 50% of the population, estimated population, fully vaccinated.
Yes.
But you mentioned that vaccination is key.
Yeah.
And I think you almost alluded to it being a, quote, a criminal act to waste the supply that we have.
Yeah, I think it really would be, and Premier Panton has used the phrase, a crime against humanity, to have all these vaccines here when around the world countries and people are desperate for vaccines. I mean, look at what's happening in India and in Brazil. And, you know, when we do reopen the borders, which we have to do, we can't stay in this position month after month after month. When we do have some tourists back, I think it's inevitable there will be some COVID. But if people have been vaccinated, COVID will be mild. The vaccines, and there's evidence from the UK, very clear evidence, Bermuda as well, vaccines prevent serious death and illness. They don't stop COVID completely, but if you haven't been vaccinated and you get it, you're running a huge risk, and you don't want to get COVID. Even young people, long COVID is a real factor, and there are in the UK a lot of people young people had COVID very mildly, but the symptoms have never gone away, and they've lived with it for months and months. In many cases, quite debilitating, weren't able to work, affecting mental health. Nobody wants to get COVID, and I feel here we've been lulled into a false sense of security because we've had normal lives. But COVID is real and COVID is very serious, and the vaccine is the way to protect you and everybody. So it's just so important.
Governor Roper, let's talk about the UK travel list. I know the
Yes.
concern is there that we have not made it to that
Yeah.
list.
Yeah.
Let's talk about why we haven't made
Yeah.
that list, and how confident are you that we can make that
Yeah,
list?
I mean, I share everyone's pain and sort of irritation, actually, that we're not on that green list because we've done so well as a country to deal with COVID-19. I think what we have to recognise is that this was the first UK list. It was very, very cautious, and the UK has been criticised by the travel industry for being so cautious. It will be reviewed every 3 weeks, and I think the one thing that just tipped us into green was for the Caribbean as a whole doesn't have genome sequencing. Now, genome sequencing is if you have positive cases, you can work out which variant of COVID it is. And the UK's big concern now, having got COVID under control, opening up the economy, is if variants of concern come in internationally, that's going to set the UK back massively. So they're being very cautious. I actually think here the variants of concern are not a problem for the UK because we're locking everybody down for 10 days or 14 days. So we're making that argument, and I am reasonably optimistic at that first review we will be green, which is where we deserve to be for all the fantastic work that we've done. But I think it was just the caution of the UK and that first list, and the fact that there was nobody else in the Caribbean that was green, just sort of kept us in the green on this occasion. So fingers crossed we will get there, and we deserve to be there.
We deserve to be there.
Yeah, we do.
Let's talk about the fact that it is your third year.
Yes.
And so you're seeing a pandemic during your time.
I've seen a pandemic, an earthquake, fires, tropical storms. I mean, it's been an incredibly eventful time, but I am enjoying it, as I've said since arriving. It's a real privilege for me to be governor of these wonderful islands and fantastic people, and I'm just trying to do my best for everybody.
And a privilege to see the transition from one government to another.
Yes.
So, right,
yes.
So you're experiencing the new government. How has that been for you? Seeing, one cannot look to the future without embracing the past. So, what was that like for you to seeing that transition through? And what was that like?
Yeah, I mean, I think the week after the election, where we were waiting to see who the new government would be, that was tense and difficult for everybody. And I shared that, I felt that, and I think some of the things that happened on social media were really not where we want to be as a country. But I think we've moved on, we've put that behind us. I know Premier Panton very well. I'd met him many times. I think he's been doing fantastic work with the Alex Panton Foundation, and I've supported them and met him many times through the foundation. So working with Premier Panton has been incredibly straightforward. He's a wonderful man, and I have a lot of respect for him, and I think the governor and the premier working together collaboratively is really important in any sort of overseas territory. I think the new government have come in with a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of commitment. They really want to deliver for the people of Cayman. So I'm here to support them. The civil service is here to support them, and I think they've got off to a very good start.
One thing that you have sort of been having a keen interest in is seeing a defense force.
Yes.
And we're referring to the Cayman Islands Regiment.
Yeah.
Where are we now? Because I believe we've seen two passing out parades.
Yes.
For the Cayman Islands Regiment. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. I know some people don't like the phrase "passing out parade" because I think it can mean something else.
but
anyway,
out?
it's a formal military term for finishing your training. But no, I think we're in great shape, and as we approach hurricane season, to have a body of men and women who have been trained to a high standard and can immediately be brought to support whatever we need in any sort of future scenario. I mean, that's a huge step forward for our islands. We've got over 100, having had two recruitment exercises. So we have the 6 or 7 junior officers who've been to Sandhurst, the best training establishment in the world, and then we've got about 100 part-time reservists who are ready to deploy. They're predominantly Caymanian, and whatever happens now, we have this trained body of men and women who can come and support us in whatever way we need. plus they can support the region. And we know Cayman's got a wonderful reputation of supporting territories and countries in the region when they're in need. We will be able to deploy the regiment to other regions and territories, as the Bermuda Regiment came here during Ivan. So I think the regiment is a really important step forward. I know the new government is very enthusiastic about the regiment, and we want to see it go from strength to strength, and I'm sure people will be very proud of the regiment in years to come.
I love that. Governor Roper, how important is it for you to continue to advocate for the Cayman Islands, the success story of the Cayman Islands?
Yeah.
When you have people on the outside not necessarily thinking of that success story?
Yeah, I think it's really important, and there are so many reasons why we can be proud of Cayman, and so many successes. The financial services industry is an incredible success, but unfortunately the headlines in the newspapers overseas just focus on the sort of tax haven aspect of it, which is grossly unfair to Cayman. And so I think it's important for me as governor to be the bridge between Cayman and the UK and make sure the UK is informed very objectively about the situation here, so they can also speak up and support Cayman in international fora. And I'm always willing to be accessible to foreign media, to anybody who wants me to say something about the situation in Cayman. I did go to New York before COVID to support the financial services industry with the then Premier and then Financial Services Minister. So I'm here to be used and deployed, and happy to do so.
And speaking of accessibility, Governor Roper, reflecting on the governor's past, you seem to be really accessible, relatable,
right.
Approachable, among other things. And I just kind of want to know what endeared you to do this and to have you do this for the Cayman Islands from the very beginning.
Well, thank you. I mean, I see it as a really important part of the job. I mean, I was ambassador at a fairly young age. Maybe I was quite a young ambassador, so I came in with perhaps a younger outlook on what being an ambassador means. So in Algeria, I did something very similar to this. I was very accessible, got into sectors of Algerian society that perhaps ambassadors hadn't mixed with before, using social media to connect with young people, and I saw the impact that had. So coming here, I very much wanted to do that, and even more important because this is a British overseas territory. So I'm really keen to get out, support the community, go to events, and we have a wonderful community which does so many things, and so many people want to give back. Problem I have is I have to say no to so many things because there's just so much happening. But it's a genuine pleasure and an honour for me to be out and about and support the community.
When you became the 14th governor of the Cayman Islands, what surprised you the most?
I think the islands the people are wonderful, and everywhere I've been made to feel very welcome. I think the islands are beautiful. I mean, it's spectacular. I mean, when I turned up here and looked at this, it's all downhill from here in on wherever I go after this house. I think it's I think what these territories, the very unique culture and heritage. I mean, you've that past that Cayman has had, coming from really difficult times, the seafaring heritage, and just listening to people about how tough life used to be, decades ago and in the last century, and from that to what Cayman is now. I was in China before here, and we talk about how remarkable China's progress has been in 40 years. You could say the same thing about Cayman, from where it was to where it is now in terms of the development and the success of financial services, the incredibly high quality tourism product, and I believe that's going to hold us in good stead in the next few years. So I think the remarkable development, I think foreigners coming in can see it in context that perhaps people living here every day don't appreciate to the same extent, but Cayman has made incredible progress over the years, and that certainly struck me coming in from the UK.
You're very active on, well, you've always been active on Twitter, but
Yeah.
you've since, been getting your, wade through Instagram.
Yeah.
And are you on Facebook as well?
We're on Facebook, and I do a lot of it myself. I have a fantastic team who support me, and they do some of the posts, but I do many of the posts directly myself.
Okay. Are you up to date with the slang words and the jargon of social media? You know, what the teens and the Gensers think
Oh
they're
my
called.
goodness! Oh my goodness!
What they use.
Well, I mean,
can I put you to the test?
You could put me to the test, but I mean, I may not pass it with flying colours.
Okay, let's try this one. Fit.
Fit. I mean, fit in the UK context is sort of attractive, but it's probably not. Just probably doesn't mean that.
Well, it's slightly changed. Basically, it's shortened for outfit.
It's outfit. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So the outfit that you wear.
So you call it a fit.
A fit.
Okay. Okay. All right. So that's one fail. Carry on.
That fit is nice. Okay. Fire.
Fire. Fire. I mean, just sort of incredible, hot, exciting, brilliant.
Fire. That outfit is fire. Shade.
Shade. So is that when you, I don't know, if you put somebody in the shade, or you're a bit lukewarm about them, or you're a little bit critical about somebody? I don't know.
Or do a little insult here and there.
Oh,
or,
right.
You
Oh,
know,
right.
just
Okay.
like a little dig.
Yeah.
You're throwing shade on that person.
Throwing shade on that person. But maybe we need a bit less of that if we're thinking about how to sort of improve all of us on social media, because it is a bit of an issue these days, isn't it?
Yes. And did we say maybe lit?
Lit.
Lit.
Lit. Well, I know what English literature is, and a fire was lit. Is it what lit? No,
lit.
You've got me there.
Okay, so in the sentence, it's this party is lit.
This party. Well, I mean, so the party is on fire, taking off.
Exactly.
Buzzing.
Buzzing. I like that. I do. All right. And lastly,
go on.
I'm gonna put you to the test on Caymanian expressions.
Oh my goodness! All right.
We're gonna do Caymanian expressions,
Okay.
and to help us out, I brought here the Cayman Islands Dictionary, which is compiled and written by Mr. Kevin Goring. You got to get this. Just a little shameless plug in that one. So we're gonna go with it, and I am just gonna throw it out there. So let's look at page 26, Governor Roper. That word is braca.
Right. Well, I think I can say I do know that one. You started with an easy one, haven't you?
Yeah.
Cayman braca, somebody from the brack.
Yes. That's right. That's correct. Okay. And then we go to page 68, just so that you guys are aware. And that word is everybody.
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 Everybody. Everyone. Yep. There you go. Every person, everyone, all persons involved. The whole crew.
The whole crew.
The whole crew.
Okay.
All right. What about, Towner?
That, I would say that's probably Georgetown. Someone from Georgetown.
Someone from Georgetown. That's
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
All right. Here we go. Because
Go on.
I think I'm making it easy, right? What about I go to 78 and I give you the word Jeezum.
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 Well, I mean, in English you probably say, oh gosh. Something like that.
Yes, something like that. An expression of excitement and disbelief. Like, oh goodness.
Excitement and
Really?
disbelief.
Yes.
Oh, oh, really?
Really? I can't believe
Yeah,
it.
okay.
Jeezum.
Right.
Okay, Mr. Governor Roper.
I didn't do too badly. You're not going to do
No,
me
no.
any more.
Okay, two more.
Oh dear. Okay.
Gallivant.
Gallivant. Well, I know that one. That's if you gallivant around, you dress up, you go somewhere fancy, you're out and about, you're busy. Is that close?
Pretty close. Okay. That was good. You hit that one. Okay, lastly. Oh, this one is a good one. For the Lambertine.
Well, so that's a bit similar to for the umpteenth time I think that's what you would say.
For the Lambertine. Any high number that is seemingly impossible to count. Governor Roper, you passed the test.
I'm becoming more and more Caymanian as the days go by.
Caymanized. Governor Roper, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
But before we go,
Yes.
we got to ask what's happening next on the calendar for you. I know it's very busy these couple of months. So
Yes.
what can we expect in the coming months?
All right. Well, thank you. I'm really glad you asked me that, because I do want to mention the Queen's birthday party. Now, as you know, we couldn't do it last year because of COVID, but we have fixed the date for this year. It will be Monday, the 14th of June. So we're shifting it from the Saturday, which it's been traditionally held on a Saturday, because of feedback, people have said to us, try it on a Monday and you might find more people come. So we're going to have a parade at 4:30 outside Government House on the road, on West Bay Road. And then it's just half an hour, and we will come inside for a reception for 2 hours, 5 until 7. It's open house, so anyone can come. I think we will put a press release out, and you need to send us your names in advance. But we can cater for 500, so we'll have a roast pig, we'll have fish and chips, we'll have all sorts of other food. So I'm sure it will be a lovely evening, probably some live music as well. And we will be doing the award of an MBE for Charles Kifford, who got the MBE last year and hasn't been able to go to the UK for that. So we're going to do it during the parade. So I hope that people will want to come and celebrate Her Majesty, who is an absolutely incredible lady. Next year will be her Platinum Jubilee. She will have been on the throne for 70 years, which is quite incredible. I know the UK is going to make it a really big occasion. I think they've got 3 days of public holidays. I'll try and persuade the Premier to allow us to have 3 days of public holiday. Just one will do. Three. But loads of people have said to me, wouldn't it be fantastic if we could bring the air show back? And I know that the air show in the 90s was an incredible experience for many people. So we are looking at that. We're going to have a real look at whether we could bring something like that back, because as the economy is reopening next year and tourism will be booming, we want to have something like that can really bring even more people in. So anyway, that's an exciting plan for next year.
Looking forward to it. Governor Roper, again, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time and the tea.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Thank you so much.